So today I'm just going to talk to you about stem and leaf diagrams. We're going to do 3 parts to this. The first part is where I'm just going to show you how you can take a set of data, and we've got a little example there, such as marks gained by students in a test, how we can make a stem and leaf diagram. Then I'm just going to show you, if you're given one, how you can read it, and finally how we can find our mean, median and mode, and also our range from a stem and leaf diagram that you've either made yourself or that you're given. So let's jump straight in. So we've got a set of data here. We've got marks out of 50 by 15 students, and we're going to take this data and we're going to put it into a stem and leaf diagram. So what is a stem and leaf diagram? Well, let's first of all talk about stem and the leaf. A stem and leaf diagram is made up of just one straight line like so, and then rows going across. We take each number and we split it up into the first and then the last digits. So let's take the first one, 27. 27 is like a 20 and a 7, like tens and units. So everything on this side goes on the left, that's your stem. And everything on the other side goes on the right, that's your leaf. When we do a stem and leaf diagram, like when we're doing a median average, we have to go from smallest to largest. So the first number we're going to put in is the smallest, and that's a 17. 17 is made up of a 1 and a 7. So we know that 17 starts with a 10, so we can put a 1 in here, 1 representing 110. Everything coming after the line is the remainder. So we say this is a 1 and a 7, 17. Now, the next largest number is an 18, which is a 1 and an 8. So we use the existing 1 that we've already got, but then we just add an 8. That means we've got 1 and 8 to make 18. Yeah, so 1 and 8 together make an 18. We keep doing this as we go up, and we do all the numbers that include a 1 and something. So we've got 17, we've got 18, and then we've got another 18. So there's 3 numbers there, 1, 7, 17, 1, 8, 18, 1, 8, 18 again. Now the next number we've got is 22, which is here. 22 consists of 2 tens and 2 units. So we have to make a new column, like 2, 2. And then we do all the other numbers with 20 in. So we've got the next smallest number is 23. 23. Then we've got a 24. And another 24. And then a 25. Another 25. Ooh, running out of space. And finally a 27. Keep going from smallest to largest. We've got the tens on the left, units on the right. We then do the next thing. We've got any 30s? Well, yes, we do. We've got a 34, 35, and a 36. And finally, we've got a 41 and a 42. So now we've got these numbers put in order, and that's kind of useful for us, as you've seen before, to find median averages, and it also lets us see quite quickly some of the information about that data set. We can see that the largest group of numbers is in the 20s. There's 3 numbers in the 10s, 3 numbers in the 30s, 2 numbers in the 40s. If we want to do the range, we've got them quite easily because we've got the smallest and we've got the biggest, 42 and 17. So it helps us to do that. And it means we can put lots of data that's kind of similar together. So, take the data and we can make a stem and leaf diagram, something like this. And I've just done a neat version there to give you what we talked about. So, we've got the stem here, and we've got the leaf here. Okay. Smallest to biggest. And that is how to draw a stem and leaf diagram. Now, just a couple of things to note. Let's go back to this one. Let's imagine this number here was 127. Let's imagine they were all 100. Yeah. So if we had this number with hundreds, we'd follow roughly the same format. Line. But instead of putting the smallest number as 17, it would be 117. So our stem would be 1, 1. And the leaf would be 7. So as compared to 1 and 7, we just say it's 110. So it's still tens, it's just you've got 11 tens, 110. And then the next one would be 117, 118 for the 118. And so on and so on. So we can do this with just one digit in the stem, we can do it with 2, we can do it in more. Basically the units is the leaf and everything else is the stem. Okay. So that's how to draw a stem and leaf diagram. Now let's look at how we can read a stem and leaf diagram. Let's imagine you're given, and look at that lovely picture, a stem and leaf diagram like so. So it says the speeds are sorted in order, put in a stem and leaf diagram. The slowest speed is 23, the fastest is 45. How can you tell this from the stem and leaf diagram? Well, we can tell it because the smallest is always right at the top left, and the largest is in the bottom right. So that's how we can tell that. It then says how many cars are breaking the speed limit. Well, it says the speed limit is 30 miles an hour. So we're looking for all the cars that are over 30 miles an hour. So we can see the first car, 23, is okay. 27 is okay. 27, 28, 29, and 29. Everything in the 20s column is going to be fine because it says 30 is the speed limit. So anything under 30, i.e. everything in the 20s, must be fine. But then we can see that there are other things that we need to sort out, i.e. the ones that don't work. We know that everything over 30 is breaking the speed limit. So we look to the 30s column and the first number is 31. And we can see that 31 is over the speed limit. Now very quickly, we don't need to think about the other numbers because we know that everything after that one I've highlighted in red is larger than 31, so everything else must be wrong as well. So then we can do some simple counting. We can just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 numbers. How many cars are breaking the speed limit? 11 cars. The ones I've highlighted in red. And that's a very simple example of how we can use a stem and leaf diagram to quickly read and sort data. But as we know, averages and the range are also really important, and we can use those to start to make inferences like we did in Unit A3, Lesson A3. So let's look at how we can do that in one final example. Okay, teacher's got 25 pupils, they've all given them a piece of homework, and how many pieces of homework they were given, and they've put the data in this stem and leaf diagram. Interesting thing here is they've written a key. It is normally good practice to put a key in, but sometimes you'll see them with, sometimes you'll see them without. And it's asked for 3 types of averages: the median, 2 averages, the median, the mode, and also the range. If you remember, the median is the center of ordered data. That's the one in the middle when you put them in order, from smallest to biggest. The range is the biggest minus the smallest. That should be easy from our stem and leaf. And finally, the mode is the most common. So we'll just have a quick look at how we can do those from our stem and leaf. So let's do the median first. There's 25 numbers. A little quick tip for you if you want to quickly find where you're going to look for the middle number when the data's in order. Take the number of values, you've got 25 pupils, and add 1 to it. Then divide it by 2. If you do that, so here we would get 25 plus 1 is 26, divided by 2 is 13. That tells us we want the 13th number. Now, if it's an even number and it gives you a half, so like let's say it was 26 plus 1 is 20. Let's say we had 26 numbers and we added 1 and we divided by 2 and we got 13.5. Well, that tells you it's going to be between number 13 and number 14. And we've seen that before in the averages video where we can insert that imaginary number. And if you can't remember that, please do go back and watch that video again. But we know we're looking for the 13th number, and now comes a little bit of counting. Hooray! So, let's do some counting. I'm going to cross them off as I count them off. So, starting at the beginning, the smallest number is 0, 1, so just 1. This one here. Okay, that's just 1. Yeah, so that's the smallest. So we say first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th number. Yeah, we could have carried on 14th, 15th, 16th to the 25th, but 9 is the 13th number. We counted it from start to 13. Now I know that 9 is the 13th number. We know that 9 homeworks is the median. That's exciting. Next, let's do the range. The range we know is the biggest minus the smallest. Let's highlight them in blue maybe. That sounds like a nice colour. So we know 1 is the smallest and 23 is the biggest. So 23 is the biggest, 1 is the smallest, 22 is the range. Finally, let's do the mode. The mode we know is the number we have the most of. Now here you've got to be a little bit careful. For example, we don't just say, oh, this 2 and this 2, for example, oh, we've got loads of 2s, because they're not the same number. The first one is 2. The second one is 12. So they're not the same number. So what we'll do is we count them in the rows. So for example, we can say that in the first row, that's the 0 row, we can see that there are 4 2s. So that one is the most common in that row. In the next row, the most common is 1. We've got 3 1s. So 4 2s is more than 3 1s. So that means we've got 4 2s and 3 11s. We've also got 3 7s. So the most common number we can see is this 2, but that 2 is actually 0 2, so it's just 2. So the mode, so we can say the median is 9, the range is 22, and the mode is 2 because of that. Now we could have also, even though the question didn't ask for it, we could have also done the mean. The mean takes a little bit longer. If we remember from our previous lessons, the mean is where we're going to add them all up. So for example, in the first column, we would do 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, ooh, lots of adding, plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9. Now in the second column, just be careful when you're doing the mean. It's not adding up 0 and 0, it's adding up 10 and 10. Yeah? And then 11, which is this one here. And then another 11. And another 11. And a 12. And a 14. And another 14. And a 15. And a 16. And then the final column is going to be 20, 2, 1, 21, and 23. And if we add all of those together, we would then take those numbers and we would divide by how many there is, which is 25. Because there's 25 numbers altogether. And that's how we can find the mean. So it's quite a long one. You definitely want to use your calculator on. So let's recap stem and leaf, just very quickly. Stem and leaf is, you've got stem on the left, leaf on the right. The stem is the first part of the number, the leaf is the last digit, so in this case it's the units. We do a line to split them up, like so. So the first, we can do it with hundreds or tens. So that first, so if we pick this number here, that's like 24. When we are given one, it should look like this, or like this. You can read it by quickly sorting through the information. Remember, it's always got to be from smallest to biggest. Yeah, notice, for example, here in that first one, it doesn't go like 7, 3, 8, 9. It goes 3, 7, 7, 8, 9, 9. So it has to be in order. We can find the averages, just like we've done averages before. Little trick for the median, add 1 on, divide it by 2, and that tells you where to look. So in this case, the 13th number was here, counting from bottom to top. Range is the smallest minus the biggest, biggest minus the smallest, and the mode is just the one you have the most of, so here it's highlighted in green. And you can also do the mean, but you have to do a lot of adding up and divide by how many you have. So today we're going to have a go at all 3 of those parts. You're going to do some drawing, some reading, and then finally some averages. Have a go at those, and as always, I will be available if you need any help with these.